dun, dun, dun. Guys, welcome back to the Oasis. Can you believe it? Look at this. Somebody's almost ready to turn the power on to the waterfalls. I'm super excited to be introducing you to the next 3 episodes. I wish I could tell you exactly what's gonna happen. So much stuff has gone on and is going on. Patio work, plant work, boulder work, log work, irrigation, gas lines, you name it. We've been doing it out here. It's like a spider web of stuff under the ground, and we're starting to dust off the flowers on top. You guys enjoy the ride. I'm trying to do as much teaching and sharing as I can. Like, comment, subscribe, ask us down there in the comments stuff that you want to know more about. I'll try to create content suited specifically to our viewers. Guys, thanks for joining the Adams family, the creation of the Oasis, where we are turning my plain vinyl siding house into the most amazing aquatic paradise that you have ever seen. Stay tuned. I can't tell you how excited I am to be back out here working on this thing. It's been a long time. I've been traveling all over planet Earth, and I've just got a few hours blocked out over the next few days to work on this fountainscape. I left this in the hands of my very capable comrades. The problem is, in my head, I've been building this fountain for the last several years, and it's got to be just the way I want it. They got it about 80% of the way there. I'm going to come in here and dial in this last 20%. Got to do a little work on the plumbing, move some pipes around. I'm going to have to really manipulate this infiltration area in here so that all the water, this 30,000 gallons an hour running down through here, it's got to be able to get down into these aqua blocks somewhere. We've got this big bib liner over the whole inside. I plan on coming in. I've got a big pile of stacked slate over there. I've got lots more basalt columns. I want to mix stuff in. I'm going to do conduits so that I can get some lights snuck up in between here. There's going to be water, there's going to be fire. I want to get a lot more action out of it, and I'm just going to try to make this little corner as magical as I can. This high level of attention to detail, it's what I thrive on, and I can spend a few days in here if I want to, because it's my yard and no one can stop me, guys. That's what I'm going to get up to. Nick and I are just going to come in here and play around and see what kind of cool thing that we can turn this into. I got ideas to put some carnivorous plants back in here. We're going to button up this corner where the overflow happened. I got another really cool spot for some carnies over in that corner. Guys, you know it ain't a party till somebody brings the carnies. I'm that guy. That's what we're going to get up to right now. Number 1, did I mention that you need to run a conduit for every light? Lights burn out. You know how many lights are going to burn out? All of the lights are going to burn out. Eventually, every light bulb fails, every LED fails. You must plan for this. So, you have to run a conduit through here, just like we've been doing everywhere. You'll see a lot of guys who build ponds and waterfalls that just run these wires up through the rock pile. Well, here's the story. What's going to happen? I have a drain pipe that you can see in here that runs down. That's one of my auto fillers from the roof. So I'm actually collecting rainwater, and it's pouring down between these boulders inside the liner. I have to 100% make sure that I allow that water to come through and infiltrate into the reservoir down here. But in the meantime, I have this beautiful hollow log over here. I'm going to situate a hollow log into this corner. I'm going to put carnivorous plants in here. There's going to be a light that has its wire running up through the middle of here, and you're never, ever, ever going to be able to get this light replaced in here unless that wire is pulled through a sleeve, period. So I'm going to tear all this back out. I'm going to make sure that I don't mess the capacity for this water to permeate underneath of this hollow log. The hollow log's going on top. I'm going to seal up the whole bottom of that with some foam so that it doesn't let all of the soil media for the carnivorous plants run out the bottom. You run the little teeny pipe as short as you possibly can and switch right over to the 1 inch. That way you're only losing your flow. You know, it's the restriction. What you're getting is friction loss. In the end of that thing, you're getting friction loss in this small pipe. So it's like people going down a hallway. It's not a lot of work when you got 4 guys walking down a great big hall. Water's the same way. It doesn't take much energy for that to travel. Once you get down and you got 4 guys in a narrow hall, and then you got 4 guys that should be going single file, and the more water you push, it increases velocity, it increases friction loss, and you actually get less water out of the fountain because you've made it work so hard to get there, you've lost a lot of that flow rate. So you want a nice clean run underneath the plumbing over here at the very back so that we can do as much slate work as possible, have easy access to all of our fittings. All of this has got to be organized so that we can do slate work over top of it, because we're going to put mortar over all of this. So we have to have access to the ball valves wherever we put them so that we can adjust the individual fountains when we're through. The rest of it's all going to be built into stone and mortar, and better get it right the first time because there ain't no going back kind of thing. So that we have to accomplish. This stuff right here, all of our 30,000 gallons an hour has got to have a happy place to go right here. Plus the water from the fountains, and there's water coming. So literally all of this way, this is going to come this way, all of this coming down this way. Stay on for sure, not gonna fall apart. This is what was buried down inside of there that I had to cover up, and if you look at the way this is, there's a 90 on the end of here. I had an epiphany. An old guy told me when I was working on his fountainscape a few years ago, when a rock gets in the line, which happens eventually, your pump sucks up a rock, it goes through the plumbing line, and it gets stuck in the smallest spot it can. At the end of this, when it hits this 90 and it goes in here and it gets into this fitting and it goes into the little tiny tube that goes into the bottom of that fountain over there, that's where the rock lodges. This does not allow you to backflow it out. So Nick put together yesterday a new manifold. Look how perfect this is. My OCD child, I don't know what it looks like. He could launch many things from it, but the main thing, squirrel, out the end of here is this clean out plug. So the water's going to come into the end of this. It's going to come out of all of these to the different fountains, because we actually added 2 more Basalt fountains into the mix since we had them. And there's going to be an adjustable ball valve on each one of these, so we can individually adjust the flow and dial that thing into perfection. The new thing that we did that's going to make it great is this clean out plug on the end. So the day that that gravel gets sucked into the line and blown through the fountain, we can actually take this out. We can wash water backwards through, we can push it out the end. This gives us the capacity to remove debris that gets trapped inside of our lines. Outside, mortaring them in and sinking them all together, and it's just going to make the water move that much more on the way down. Makes it not very kid friendly though. These are pretty ridiculously nasty. Just figured I would point out that the rock that we made fun of earlier that was very smooth and phallic is right there. We added 2 more fountains in while we were doing the revamp in here, and that would be one of them, and it fits perfectly in here. And we're going to completely conceal the strangeness of said stone. Just wanted to let you guys know, because you're going to be asking yourself, is he really trying to hold those things together with foam? Because the water where the pipe goes up inside the cavity in the bottom of these stones, there's a crack all the way around the pipe, so a lot of the water is going to leak back down out the bottom where you can't see it. So the only purpose of the foam underneath there is to try to seal that up a little tighter underneath, so that all the water inside goes up through and comes out the top of the fountains instead of leaking back out in the bottom. I figured you were going to ask me foam questions. Why are you holding the stones in with foamcrete? I am not. We came back in, we redid the manifolds. We actually added 2 more bubbling fountains into the mix, and all of the lighting in the conduits were rerun. We took this whole zone of color changing lights around this fountain and we separated them from the rest of the waterfall lighting, so that if we want the waterfall lighting to just be a nice natural warm white light, we can still cast a little orangey kind of firelight in the basalt fountains, so that if we don't light the fires in the columns, we still can get that kind of fire effect without burning gas. So I'm just going back in and I'm hitting these high level detail things. So as I work my way out, I'm doing pool by pool, pocket by pocket. I'm fixing the lights, I'm dialing them in, I'm bringing the new lighting wire out. We're moving up into here now. Upper area for me is gonna be handling these pools, readjusting the lighting, doing the things that I gotta do. This is gonna be a massive wall of carnivorous plants over here. This waterfall is gonna crash down and come around. The water poured in from the downspout. One of our downspouts feeds the reservoir back here, right underneath the hearth. So what we wanted to do was create basically a pile of cobbles down there that the water can go straight down into the aqua blocks through those cobbles. So we built this hollow log up, and then Nick did the rock work. So the waterfalls will come right through where I'm standing, and one falls will come around and curve off of this boulder that he put in. Then I did this little flagstone work to try to kind of emulate some steps for the ferries. I'm thinking a little granddaughter area over here was called for. So I'll probably continue that on up into here and do some other stuff. Let's see, is there anything else that went on over here that I need to share? Plantings, cleaning, lighting, details. I'm good with that. Let's walk over here to the other side and I'll show you the pump pad, kind of give you the lowdown on what I'm working on over there. All right guys, so this is obviously where the pumps are gonna live. I've been pecking along at this area as well. We've got 4 lines coming into the back of here. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to have a nice clean interaction with the power that was coming out. I'll do some boulder work and you guys can follow as I kind of disguise this out. We'll naturalize it and make it as beautiful as we can, considering it's gonna just house a bunch of pumps. But 4 lines coming in, I only actually have 3 accounted for. So I did run an extra line for the just in case factor, but pumps are getting ready to be set. We had an electrician out. He ran me 100 amp service out here, which is way more than I need. We'll be able to put power to all our buildings and power to the waterfall pumps, and individually, there's gonna be individual switches for the pumps in here. All of that's just boring electrical stuff, but it's a lot of things, again, that go on in the background that people don't think about in a project like this. So anyways, that's all I gotta say about that. John G out.
Whatever you call that.
What's gonna happen is this airplane's gonna fly right over top of my head. Holy cow, he's like 50 feet right there. I bet you can hear that. Hey buddy, pontoons, he's gonna land in the lake. He's going fishing. Squirrel. And the important thing to understand, number one, the reason why there's another airplane right over my head. You'd think we live right next to the airport or something. It's bizarre. Well, give me a second. You can just keep letting it flow.
Want to fix the wet end of the... Here, pull that for me. Pull my finger.
You should subscribe and ding that bell, because it's just cooler if you do. I'm done with that.
Always assuming everybody needs his help.
It's enough out of you.